Hey everyone, it's Mr. Montgomery again. Today we are on page 173. I wrote it nice and big so you know exactly what page we need to be on in our Robot and Turtle book. And this is lesson 4-4. Now we've been doing a lot of work with subtraction. Today we're going to be working on something called a fact family. There is some addition and some subtraction. Before I go into the story problem that they give us in the speech bubble, I just want to explain what it is so we know exactly what we're going to be doing. So if you're not on page 173, pause the video, make sure you're on it, and then hit play. Okay, so let's say, for example, we're not reading anything up here yet, so anything I write down, do not copy it yet. Do not copy it yet, okay? Just kind of watch and listen real quick. So let's say we are adding the numbers 1 and 3. These are our parts. We have one part here, right? And then we have 3 over here. Remember, you are not copying down any of this yet. Do not write anything down. And we know that 1 plus 3 can make a big number of 4. Now, we need to be able to look at whatever parts in total they give us and write 2 different kinds of addition problems and 2 different subtraction problems. So we already know what a related fact is, right? We learned that the other day. Say if we have 1 plus 3 equals 4, a related fact could be 4 minus 1 equals 3. We are using the same 3 numbers. For a fact family, we are doing the same thing, except we're writing down every single way we can make a number sentence. So instead of just one other way, we are going to write 4 completely different ways to make a number sentence using the same 3 numbers. I know it might sound a little scary. Don't let it scare you. I will show you some little tips and tricks to make things actually kind of fun. If you just think of this like a little fun puzzle, and you'll be a-okay. Alright, so remember, you're still not writing anything down. Let's say we need to make an addition sentence for 1, 3, and 4. Okay? 4 is our giant number. That's our total. So where does a total go in an addition sentence? It goes at the end. Right? So for both addition sentences, the answer has to be 4 because that is the big number here. That's our total. Where would the total go in these subtraction number sentences on the other side? Well, it's going to go first, right? Because when we subtract, we put the biggest number first. So do all of these have a giant number? They sure do. So 4 is all done. We don't have to worry about it ever again. Okay? Now, how can we finish our first addition sentence? What number would you like to go first? If you're pointing to the 1, we can absolutely do that. We can write the 1 first, and that means the 3, our other part, would go second. Okay? And now if we want to create a brand new addition sentences using the same numbers, well, we can just flip-flop the parts, right? Because we can add in any order we want. So instead, we can put the 3 over here. The 3 can go first, and the 1 can go second. And it still gives us a total of 4. Alright, so now we are all done our addition number sentences. Let's look at our subtraction, where we make small numbers. So we have our 4 first, right? And we don't have to worry about that number ever again. What number would you like to go second? Like, how much are we going to take away from 4? Do you think we should take away 1 or 3? Well, if you're pointing at the 1, we can absolutely do that. We can say 4 minus 1, right? So, did we use a 4 already in this number sentence? We sure did. Did we use a 1 already? We sure did. Did we use our 3 yet? We did not. So 4 minus 1 has to be 3, because that is our other part. Now I used all 3 numbers. Now, let's think of another way we could write a subtraction sentence. How else can we write a subtraction sentence? If we don't want to put the 1 second, like if we're not going to take just one part away, how much could we take away? Well, we could take away 3, right? Because we already took away 1 and we got 3. And again, we're just going to flip-flop these two numbers to make a brand new number sentence. So we used 4, check. We used 3, check. And the only number left is 1. So 1 is our answer. And you can see that we just flip-flopped these two numbers, just like we did with the addition problem. All we did was switch the parts. Again, for subtraction, you're just switching where the parts go. That's it. All right? Now that we kind of went through a quick example, let's read our speech bubble and see what numbers they want us to use to make an entire fact family. So let me just go ahead and clean this up. Okay, it's all clean. Now, from this point on, you will be writing down what I write. Okay? So it says, write 2 addition and 2 subtraction facts. Use the numbers 8, 9, and 17. Okay, so first let's figure out which is our total number, which is the whole. Okay, what is the biggest number there in this fact family? Is it 8, 9, or 17? If you're pointing at the 17, you are absolutely right. That is the biggest number. So it has to go in this top box. So 17 is our total. Now what number, so we use, hold on, let me check that off. So we wrote down our 17 in our part-whole chart. But now we need to figure out one of the parts. So right now we have 8 and 9 left. Which number do you think we should do first? Well, if you're pointing at one of the numbers, you can go with that number. Since we're just writing down the parts, we can do any one you want. We can do the 8 or the 9. Just whatever one you choose, you do the last one on this side. So I'm going to choose to do 8. So I'm just going to write an 8 down here so I don't forget. And I'm going to draw all the pieces to this part, right? So I'm going to draw 8 circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right, so we used 8, check. And the last number we have is 9. So our last part is 9. And I'm going to draw all the pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. All right, so I like to start with the addition problems first because, I don't know, they just seem kind of fun and easy, and it helps me not feel so nervous later on. So we need to make an addition sentence because there is a plus sign. So we have to make an addition sentence using 8, 9, and 17. So for what number is the biggest? Let's deal with that first. What number is the biggest? It's at 17, right? The 17 is the biggest. So where does the biggest number go in an addition sentence? Does it go at the beginning or at the very end? It goes at the end because we need a total when we are adding together. When we put two numbers together, we need a big number. So we can write our 17 back here. So, okay, we have 17. Now we need our parts. What part should we write first? Because the parts have to hug the plus sign. They got to be around the plus sign. He helps keep them feeling safe and fun. Okay? So we can actually write the 8 first. And then, so we used 17. We used our 8. Our last number is 9. So we would say 8 plus 9 equals 17. But now we have to write a brand new addition sentence for our fact family. And remember, when we do a fact family, the big number isn't going to move its spot when we are dealing with two addition problems. That 17 has to stay in the same spot because it's the only big number there. So we have our 17, right? They both of these have 17? Yes, they do. So check. But now we need to figure out where to put the 8 and the 9. We cannot put them in the same exact spots. We have to flip-flop their spaces. So if we put 8 first in the first addition problem, we have to put the 8 second in the next one. So he's just going to switch houses with his neighbor. But what about the 9? Where does the 9 go? Well, if the 8 took the house that 9 was living in, well, the 9 is just going to go live in his house over here. So the 9 will go first. Alright, so now let's go back and check our addition work to make sure we have all the correct numbers. Do both of these problems have 17? They sure do. Check. Do both of them have a 9? Yep, we have a 9 here, and we have a 9 down here. And they are in different spaces. That's exactly what we need. So they both have a 9. Check. And do they both have an 8? We have an 8 here, and we have an 8 down here. We sure do. And they're not in the same. It's not in the same spot as before. So we did it correct. So do we have an 8? We sure do. Okay. But now we have to do our subtraction number sentences. So I'm going to rate this in blue so it stands out a little bit, because I like to make little check marks to make sure I used all 3 numbers. If that helps you, awesome. If it doesn't, you don't have to make the check marks. Don't worry about it. So remember, we are now doing subtraction. We are taking away, all right? So if we're taking away, where does our big 17 need to go? Does it go at the beginning or the end? Well, when we subtract and we're taking away, we need to make sure our giant total is at the beginning. So the 17 has to go first. Okay, so we use our 17. Check. Now we need to pick one of our parts. Do you think we should have, are we going to take away 8, or do you think we should take away 9? It really doesn't matter which one you want to do first, because we are going to write the other way next. So I like to just kind of keep it in order, so that way I start at the top, right? And then I go down to the side, and then last I'll end over here. Kind of like making a fact family triangle. Now this you don't have to draw. Don't draw the triangle. It'll look messy. But you see, you just kind of go from side, corner to corner. Okay, so I start at 17, then I go to an 8. I write my 8 down, and then last I have a 9, right? Because that's the only one I didn't use yet. So I used my 17, good. I used my 8, and the only thing left is a 9. So I use that too, and check. Now, I'm just going to go the backwards order when I do my next subtraction sentence. So I have to start with my top, right? My big total, 17, because we are subtracting. We have a minus sign, so we're taking away. The big number has to go first. But now I'm going to go in a reverse order. I'm not going to go to 8 next. I'm going to go down this way. And what number is down here in this corner? I have a 9. So I'm going to take away 9 from 17 this time. And then I'm going to shoot over that way, over to my 8, because that's our last number. So 17 minus 9 equals 8. And you can see that they just kind of flip-flopped houses again. The 9 switched over, the 8 switched over, but the 17 does not. The 17 just drops straight down. And same thing over here, the 17 just drops straight down. We never move the total until we move or change our sign for the math problem. Okay, that's the only time we change where the big number goes. But as for the parts, they switch houses all the time. Okay, so let's go ahead and do a couple practice problems. Let's go over to page 174 and make sure that we really understand what a fact family is and how we can build them. Alright everyone, here's page 174. Now I know the number one is already kind of done for you guys, but I just want to walk through the process again. Make sure you guys know what we're doing, especially since they gave us a picture but no real numbers. Okay, so when you do number two, to make your life easier, make sure that you count all the dots on each side. So for red we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6 red. And then for yellow, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 red. Now, if it looked helpful when I made the triangle, you can do the same thing here. So we start at 14, go down to 6, over to 8, then up to 14 again. And you just kind of follow that flow and then go in the reverse order, and it might make things a little easier for you. If it does, cool. If not, you don't have to use it. So let's start at the top. 14. When we have a plus sign, where does that 14 go? Is it going to be the first number or the answer? It's going to be our answer by itself on the other side of the equal sign. So 14. And then I just kind of follow the flow of the triangle. To go down, oh, I hit a 6. So 6 is my next number. Then from 6 I go over, boom, I see the 8. And I just used all 3 numbers that quick. Now, remember, since the next one is still addition, we bring the 14 down. And we just do the triangle in the reverse order. Instead of going to the left, we're going to go to the right. So I have my 14, I go down the other side, I hit 8. And then I go across to the last corner, I hit 6. And look, you see that they flip-flop places. The 8 is now over here, and the 6 is now over here. Alright? Now, I'm really sorry that they always put they flip-flop how they write number sentences, guys. I wish they didn't do this so much, but we're going to do the best we can with it. Okay, now for subtraction, right? We have our minus sign, so we're subtracting numbers now. Where's that 14 going to go? Is it going to be by itself after the equal sign, or is it going to be the first number? Well, since it's subtraction, the 14 has to be that first number. Okay, and again, we're just going to go down the corners. So go down the first side, we hit a 6. You know, that can go into the first space. And then go across, we hit the 8. It goes in the last empty space. Okay. The 14 always stays where it is. It just drops down. It's not going to move. But now we just do the triangle in the other direction. Start at the top, go down the other side. We hit 8. That's going in the first space. And then go across. We hit 6. It goes in the last space. Alright? So if doing that triangle helps, cool. If not, and it just looks weird, don't feel like you have to do it. I'm just trying to think of ideas to help you guys have a much easier time with this. Okay? So before I let you go off and start number 2 on your own, let's count all of our dots. That is the first step, so we know exactly what numbers we're dealing with. So for red, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have 9. Let's count our yellow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have 7. And if making the triangle helps, I'm going to do it really quick. Right there. And then over to the 7. And then up. Okay, so we have our 3 numbers. We have 16, 9, and 7. Here's what I'm going to have you guys do. We're going to do parts at a time. So I want you to go through and do both addition first. to make 2 addition sentences for our fact family. Only the addition parts. All right, I'll give you guys a quick minute or two to do that. Okay, if you're not done yet, pause the video, take your time. I want to make sure that you have enough time to try this on your own. That, to me, is the most important part. So if you're all done and the video is still playing, we're going to check your work. So we have 16, 9, and 7. Where's the 16 going to go in our addition sentence? Is that the first number, or is it on the answer side? The big number in addition always goes on the answer side. So and then we just go down the triangle. Go down to the left. We see 9 first. Boom, it goes in the first space. And then we go over to our last corner. We hit 7. And then we go back up to 16, and we already have that down. Right? And now we just do it in the opposite direction. So 16 stays where it is. Right? Because it's the big number. And we're still doing addition. So we go down the other side this time. We'll go down this side. I go down, I hit 7. So 7 goes in the first spot. Then I go across. I see 9. 9 goes in the last spot. And again, you just see that they flip-flop spaces. That's all they're really doing to make a whole new addition sentence. So now that we did our addition, I'm going to give you some time to do the subtraction part. So remember, we have a minus sign. That means we are taking away. It changes how our number sentence is going to look. All right, so I'm just going to say that one more time. We are subtracting now. We have a minus sign. So go ahead and make 2 number sentences using these 3 numbers, 16, 9, and 7. Okay, if you're still working on these, go ahead, pause the video again, hit that space bar, take your time. It's very important that you try this on your own, and then make sure that you check your work afterwards, because not only will that show yourself that you know what you're doing, but also it's going to help you build confidence. I want everyone to be nice and confident with everything we do in the classroom. Okay, so when we do subtraction, where's this big 16 going to go? It's going to go first or after the equal sign? Well, it's got to go first because we are subtracting now. I'm actually going to do this in a different color. So 16 has to go first. And then we just go down the triangle. Go down the first side. We hit the 9 first, so 9 goes in the first spot. And then we cut across. We hit 7. 7 goes in the second spot. And that number sentence is done. Now we're going to do the same thing, but in the opposite direction. So we start 16, and we go down and see 7. Oh, sorry, almost forgot. Remember, since we're still subtracting, 16 doesn't move. So start 16, go down to the 7 first because we're going in the opposite direction. So 7 is our first number. And then we go across the bottom here to our last corner, and we see 9. And 9 goes in the last space. And again, you see that they just flip-flop spaces, and that's all they're really doing. So wherever the big number is for addition, that will stay in that spot for both addition problems. For subtraction, that big number also stays in the same spot. The only ones that are moving are the parts, not the total. All right, so let's go ahead, go to page 175, and we'll do just one more practice one together. All right, here's page 175. We're just going to do one more together. All right, except this time, instead of having the circles, we do have the actual numbers. Okay, and I'm just going to make a little triangle here just in case it helped you out. Just remember the 9 is on this side. This side's going to be the 8. Okay. So again, we'll do this in parts. So let's do the addition parts first. Just keep in mind, where does the big number go when we have a plus sign? All right, and go ahead and do the 2 addition problems for number 3. Alright, if you're still working on it, hit the pause button, take your time. If you're already done, let's go over your work, make sure you're doing it correctly. So let's start with our big total 17. Where's that 17 going to go in a addition sentence? It's going to go first, or is that the answer? It goes in our answer space, so 17. For both addition problems, it stays in the same spot. Now let's go down our triangle. Ready? Go down the first side, stop. We're on side with the 9. Then go across, boop. We're on side with the 8 now. Okay, and we made an addition sentence that easy. Now let's do it the opposite direction. Start 17, go down this side, boop. We hit 8 first, so we can put 8 in the first spot this time. And then go across, boop. We hit the 9, so now 9 goes in the second space. And then when we go back up, we're back at 17, which is our answer. That's our total. So now let's go ahead and do the subtraction problems, okay? Again, one of the most important parts is knowing where the big number goes for a subtraction number sentence, okay? So go ahead and try these subtraction problems only. Alright, if you are all done, we're going to go over it. If you're not all done, make sure you take your time, pause the video, and then hit play when you're ready. So for our total, which is 17, when we subtract, we have to make sure that goes in the first spot. 17 is first, and it's not going to move, because we always take away from the biggest number. Okay, and then we just go down our triangle. Start at 17, go down, we hit 9 first. That's our first number. Then go across, we hit 8. 8 goes in the answer space. Okay, now we just do the same thing but backwards. Start at 17, go down this side, we hit 8 first, and then go across, then we hit 9, and that goes in our last spot, and that's it. And you can see that the parts keep changing, they will swap spaces, but the total never swaps its space. Never ever. Okay, so go ahead and do number 4 and 5 completely on your own, and there will be an IXL assignment online for when you're done. If you are really confused by this concept with this lesson, if it's really confusing, please let me know. You can work with me and some other friends on the carpet. But if you're all good to go, can't wait to see your work, guys. All right, so that's it. Hopefully this seems kind of fun. It's not too scary. And I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day.